It'd be fun to do a thought experiment every once in a while, like, what if I owned Dungeons and Dragons? And that's what I want to talk about today on Greyhawk Grognard. Just a reminder, this is being done as a collaboration with Joe the Lawyer and Eric Tenkar. Their videos are going to be on my channel, and my videos are going to be on their channel. So please like and subscribe to all three of us, and you'll really help out the group. So that said, let me just set a couple of parameters here because I want to talk about what if I owned Dungeons and Dragons. It's not quite the same as owning Hasbro, and it's not quite the same as owning Wizards of the Coast. I'm talking about just the Dungeons and Dragons brand and all the attendant IP that goes with it. So first thing I would do is bring all of the different editions back. Right? Put them all in print. And I know, a lot of the older stuff is available in Drive-Through RPG, DM's Guild, and it's PDFs or whatever. But in terms of the core rule books, I would clean them up and put them back into print. Right, so you'd be able to buy basic. Well, one of the many versions of basic. You'd be able to buy first edition, second, so on and so on. I would also make it much easier for fans to create content for them. We'd have to set up, some sort of schema, but where they would own what they did, and they would be able to use the IP, but not in such a way that they're going to undermine it. They've got to be fair to the owner of the IP, but on the other hand, you want to encourage people to make stuff. So I know I'm being vague. That's because I'm not a lawyer. Maybe Joe, the lawyer, will go into some of this. Um, and one thing I've always thought would be very appropriate is to link certain settings to certain rule sets. And which wouldn't mean that you could only use that setting with it, right? Or that you could only use that rule set with that setting. But I think by having a default setting for each system, I think it adds a little something because a lot of people, look at games like Sorcerers of Hyperborea, something like that, where it's not just a system; it's a system and a setting. And I think a lot of people like that, but it's also should be able to be, to separate them, if you want to. And I would open up the settings as well, maybe using the same sort of structures they have right now on DM's Guild for whatever, for the couple of settings that they have there. Forgotten Realms and Dark Sun and Greyhawk. Mystara, I think, is up there. But set that up for all the settings, right? Let the fans be fans and create stuff and not worry about, getting shut down and a C&D coming on their doorstep. So what I would do is, for example, first edition AD&D would be Greyhawk. They're natural. That was the big one at that time. Second edition would probably be Forgotten Realms, and so on. You'd pick good settings and good things and match them up. And again, you're not locked in that way. It would just be a default for product, um, for official product, I should say. I would probably um, tone down the tchotchkes, right? The plushies and the vinyl figurines and stuff like that. I'd want to make it more game focused rather than game culture focused. Which wouldn't mean there wouldn't be shirts and junk like that. You're always going to have that kind of stuff. But it seems like in some ways right now that's kind of dominating, right? It's not it's like the focus isn't the game. The focus is the junk about the game, and I'd want to reverse that. I know a lot of people like to play VTTs. I do not, but a lot of people do. And I would want to create a VTT that was player and DM focused, right? Human focused. AI is just not there yet. If you wanted to do stuff using it, in terms of storytelling, so I wouldn't even that's a way future thing. But in terms of making a VTT that is very focused, that doesn't require tons of prep on the part of the DM, to set things up, make it not have too many bells and whistles. You wouldn't have any microtransactions. It would just be a way that you could get together and play with your friends. It would include scheduling tools built into it. Find a game built into it, that kind of thing. Make it easy for players to play. That would be the focus of it. Um, and absolutely, I would start uh, going to cons as in an official capacity again. So I know Wizards of the Coast doesn't really do conventions as Wizards of the Coast very much, but that would change. I would do all the big ones. I would do all the regional ones. Just get out there and let players know that you are invested in them. It gives a chance for you to listen to the players, and so forth. So I would start that up again. I would make things easier for game stores. I know there's quite a few hoops that need to be jumped through in order to do games, official games. I would do rollouts for game stores. I wouldn't try to undercut them by selling digitally, before they are selling stuff on their shelves. I would want to make it. I would want game stores to want to do business with me as we do that. So those are my big things. I'm sure there's a lot of things, and there's obviously not a lot of detail because this is only a few minutes long. But I would love to hear your thoughts. Let me know in the comments what you want to do if you owned D&D. I would love to hear that. And just as a reminder, don't forget that the Adventures Dark and Deep Light book is now out. So go ahead and I'll leave a link below for that. I hope you're all having a wonderful, wonderful day, and I will talk to you all later. Thanks for watching today's video. Please remember to hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. Below you'll find links to my Patreon, which helps make these videos possible. You'll also find the web store where you can buy my books, and my blog where you'll find all sorts of free downloads and other articles. Thanks, and have a great day.